So on this page, we're going to talk about the introductions. So currently, Malaysia's transport sector is a primary contributor to harmful urban air pollution, as we can see in the slide. So to combat this, the transition to EVs has emerged as a key strategy. By eliminating tailpipes emissions, EVs directly support our national low carbon goals. So while the government is actively pushing adoption through tax incentive, we still face significant hurdles, specifically high costs, limited infrastructures, and concerns over where our energy actually comes from. So these reports analyze whether, despite these practical challenges, EV adoption can truly and meaningfully reduce air pollution in the Malaysian context.
This slide talks about the ethical conflict of using electric vehicle in Malaysia. The government encourages people to use EV because they help reduce pollution and protect the environment. However, there is a problem. Most of the Malaysian electricity still comes from a coal and natural gas. So even though EV do not produce smoke on the road, but the pollution still happen at the power plant. Another issue is EV battery. Making and throwing away battery can harm the environment, and recycling systems are still not well developed. EV are also expensive to buy. Even though they save money in the long run, many people cannot afford the high price at the beginning. Lastly, people worry about the limiting driving range and charging problem. Charging stations are not everywhere, and charging takes a long time. In conclusion, EV are good for the environment, but there are still challenges related to pollution, cost, and convenience that need to be solved. Next, this slide explains the main factors that influence the use of electric vehicle in Malaysia. First, EV have reduced pollution from vehicle, but Malaysia still produce most of the electricity using a coal and gas. Because of this, the overall environmental benefit is reduced. Next is the issue of the cost. EV are expensive to purchase, but battery replacement is costly, and setting up a home charging system also require extra money. This makes EV less attractive to many buyers. Another factor is charging availability. Charging stations are mostly located in urban areas, while people in rural and sub-rural areas have a limited access. Finally, there are technical challenges. If you need a long time to charge, fast charging are limited, and battery performance can decrease over time. In summary, although EV offer long-term benefit, high cost, limited charging facility, energy source, and technology challenges affect the EV adoption in Malaysia.
Okay, in this slide, I will talk about the suggest solution for the ethical conflict in electrical vehicle EV adoption in Malaysia. So the first one is the government policy versus the environmental reality. Malaysia still use a lot of fossil fuels for electricity. So EV policies should go together with a more renewable energy. The government should also clearly share how EV really affect the environment from production daily use. Next is consumer convenience versus environmental responsibility. EV users should be encouraged to change during peak off-peak hour or at a green charging station. Using smaller EVs, public transport, and car sharing can also reduce energy use. Education helps more people understand how their driving habits affect the environment. Next is the government planning versus the charging infrastructure accessibility. Charging stations should not only be in a big city but also need in the rural areas. The government can work with the private companies to build more stations faster. Standard charges can make EV more easier for everyone. Next is economic burden versus the long-term environmental benefits. EVs are expensive, so subsidies and payment plans can help. Local EV production can reduce costs and create jobs. Electrifying public transport also allows more people to enjoy environmental benefits. The last one is environmental promises versus battery production and disposal risk. Clear rules are needed for EV battery disposal. The government should invest in recycling facilities, and EV manufacturers should be responsible for handling used battery properly. So next is a lesson learned. So the government policy should be based on a real conditions, not just a green promises. EVs cannot fully reduce a pollution if electricity still come from fossil fuels. Protecting the environment is in a long term is more important than political image. Environmental protection is not only the government's job but also the responsibility of consumers. Convenience should not harm the environment, When people are aware, they make more responsible decisions. Ethical planning means everyone should have access to EV charging facilities. If planning is weak, rural area may left behind. Good infrastructure planning helps increase trust and EV adoption. EV solutions should consider people's financial situation too. High prices can stop lower income groups from adopting EVs. Financial support now can lead to better environmental benefits in the future. Environmental responsibility does not stop at reducing emission. Battery waste can become a serious issue if not managed properly. True sustainability looks at the full life cycle of EV.
I will explain about ethical safety, health, community, environmental issue. First, a ethical issue. EV adoption align with utilitarian ethics as it reduces air pollution and benefit the majority of society. Cleaner air lowers public health risks and environmental harm. Ethical concern arise due to high EV costs, creating inequality in access to clean transportation. Second is safety issue. Reduce exhaust emissions, improve safety in residential and high traffic areas. Lower pollution exposure protects vulnerable groups such as children and the elderly. Battery-related risks exist but can be managed through regulation and safety standards. Third is environmental issues. Vehicle emission contribute to respiratory and cardiovascular disease. EVs reduce pollutants such as nitrogen oxides and particulate matter, improve air quality, leads to better public health and reduce healthcare pressure. Community issues. Cleaner environments improve quality of life and productivity in urban communities, reduce medical expenses, benefit household and society. Unequal charging infrastructure may lead with rural areas. And for environmental issues, is EVs reduce greenhouse gas emissions and urban air pollution, support Malaysia's environmental sustainability goals, environmental impact of battery pollution, and disposal must be addressed.
So, in conclusion, electric vehicles undoubtedly hold the potential to transform Malaysia's urban air quality by eliminating tailpipe emissions and dangerous pollutants like carbon monoxide. However, this potential is currently limited. We face ethical and practical hurdles, specifically a power grid that still relies on fossil fuels and high costs that makes EVs inaccessible to lower income groups. Therefore, for EVs to meaningfully reduce pollution, we need a holistic approach. We must stop looking at cars in isolation and start integrating them with renewable energy expansion and fairer policies for all Malaysians. That's all for me. Thank you.